Oh, it's working, Casey. He can't sit down for too long because his hat won't fit. We've successfully deterred a hobo. Did, I'm gonna pretend I don't see that. Dewey, you didn't come look in the trash can.
It's gonna be my head, isn't it? Yeah, it's my head.
It's Deef the Grouch. It is now December, and with the backlog I am currently working through, that means you are probably watching this in July. So, what does that mean? One, it means that I've put all these towers in. That's unrelated to it being December. That's just a thing that happened at the same time. And by put all the towers in, I mean I don't know how the hell I'm going to connect them to the ground, because there's walls and grass has to be on this side, but not on this side. It's rough. Two, we're now in 1.21.4, which is somehow still part of the trial chamber update, but it means that there is a thing in the game now. It's an angry tree man, and it's called the Creaking, but DarkLlama spelled it the Creakening one time, and that's what I'm going to be calling it from now on. So that's a thing. It also means that there is pale wood, which is a good start. I'm still waiting on any purple and blue blocks in the game, but I guess white and gray again is fine. And we probably need to get some of that. It also means, however, that there is a whole new category of foliage color, which means that at some point we're going to have to figure out where that fits in to all of this. Now, it could go up here, could go here. A lot of it is gray and orange, though, and as much as the gray and the pale goes with some of the blue tones, the things like the eye blossoms and the resin really goes in the orange zone. So we've got a bit of a revolt in development there. So we got to figure out what the hell's happening with that. But that is another story and will be told another time. It is entirely possible that that just ends up being an additional zone that gets tacked onto the city, perhaps on the outside or across the bay. Remains to be seen. I still have not dealt with that. We're going to just ignore that. I have finally worked out, I think, what I'm doing with this aqueduct. I'm fairly happy with it. I'd like to get Zakticon's input on it, but we'll see if that ever happens. Mostly because it would require a slight reassessment of how he's got this wall, which I think was fine with the original plan, but the problem with the aqueduct is that it needs to be a certain height to fit the redstone in, and I think I'm changing how the redstone works, and that's going to make fitting it in here without it intersecting the road over there very difficult. Not impossible. I could probably do it, but it would be uncomfortable, let's say. So we will cross that bridge when there is water to bridge across. And I think I have been doing some minor detailing. I've been messing around in the armory, just tinkering in my spare time. I've got some helmets put up. If I can get this one. There it is. I've got some helmets put up on these hooks. I got a spear rack that I'm still kind of tinkering with. I ran out of harpoons, so I'm having to use flint spears like some commoner. And I had to tweak this wall a little bit to keep the fence gate from connecting to it, but I think it still works okay. I got some more vines in that hopefully aren't going to grow too out of control. Vines are a little tricky. And I've got all of this, I think, mostly organized. I've got all of my tools, for the most part, in here, except for hoes that I think are going to go elsewhere. Crossbows, regular bows, swords, hammers and swords, more swords. There's a lot of weapons in Foundation that I've had to sort of account for. I've got tridents in this sort of tool rack here. Got a quiver. There's Casey. And smithing templates, trim materials. Oh, resin goes there. Armor trimming station, and all the rest of it's in here until I can find a better place for it. But first, there are some developments in the bird plate that we have to attend to. Casey, I've fallen into the place where people throw all their chips and trash and drop their hats. Oh, have you run over anyone in a minecart yet? Here he comes. Great success. Have you got some goat horns you don't much care about? It's time. All right, here's the recipe. One of those, 4 rails. I'm confident you can figure it out. All right, that's enough monorail for one lifetime. There's new content to explore, and if my calculations are correct, it should be somewhere around here. Not that I would ever know, because these stupid chunks aren't loading. Where the hell is it? It's over here. It was right behind me. Okay. So this one actually looks kind of big relative to that's a lot of teeth. Relative to the ones I've found. A lot of the ones I've seen previously have been probably about 5 meters by 5 meters across. But this one's, I mean, it's still tiny, but there's more than one tree, and I might actually be able to get something out of here. So that is a lot of teeth. What's in the teeth? It's nothing in the teeth. I don't want to go in the teeth. All right. What have we... Okay, it's a donut. Whatever. All right, but we are just gonna like completely dismantle a couple of these trees because I can think of quite a few things to do with these, and also I'd like to see if I can find one of the Creakening hearts. I don't know if these need shears or just silk touch. It's sort of been inconsistent with recent additions, but it looks like shears work, so I'll take it. This stuff especially, I think I'm going to use a lot. The moss, maybe not as much, but I'm sure I can find some use for it. I want a sapling is the main thing, but I've added a new fruit to these, and I'd like to get some of those too because I think I can sell them to the brewery and make $1 million. Anything in here? No. Okay. Yeah, let's just see if I can get a sapling. And these, I think, are like the dark oaks. You need a 4x4. Oh, there's the apple. There's a couple of the apples. You need the 4x4 to grow a tree, so I'm going to need a lot of saplings. And not sticks, preferably. Or just a billion apples. That also works. Well, not that my opinion really matters, but let's talk about this update a little bit. I actually don't hate this one. I've been critical of some recent updates for a number of reasons that I feel I've enumerated fully at this point. But this one, I actually kind of like this one. It's relatively small. There's not a whole bunch of nonsense stuck on top of it. It actually, some of the content feels very meaningful. We haven't had white wood like at all in the game, which has made doing anything even remotely modern very difficult. I still kind of want gray doors and trapdoors, but one thing at a time. And most importantly, I think it didn't duplicate any of my previous work. Like the stupid cherry orchard. I mean, it's kind of an equinox biome, but frankly, the petrified forest and the equinox, I think, is a slightly different enough palette that I can live with this. Maybe remains to be seen. And also, I feel like some of this would actually fit really well in the equinox. I just haven't really found a way to do it yet. But I feel like the creaking, if there was to be a monster in the equinox, it would be something like the creaking, Especially just with the way that the creaking works feels very equinox. It's a very psychological monster. It's not strong, but it messes with your head. Hello. I was just talking about you. It messes with your head a little bit, as we can see, because now it's just sort of watching me, waiting for me to let my guard down. Uh, how do I do this? I punch him, right? And then it tells me where his soul lives. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That was unnecessary. I was still looking at you. And you get the resin. I think is the one thing that feels a little not impactful because it, as I've said, gray, green, and orange kind of already overrepresented. But whatever. So yeah, the resin feels a little redundant, especially coming off of 3 straight updates of here's another variant of copper. Like we're not lacking for orange at this point. I don't think if it had been a different color, I think I would have received it better, like blue or purple, which still does not exist in this game. This could be a problem. There is one other pale garden on the server, and it's been immediately ripped to shreds. So let's try and not have this one suffer the same fate. But I think if we're gonna come up with some sort of new fantasy wood in a weird fantasy biome, maybe it's got blue fantasy resin. Someone, please, anything that's actually blue and not teal. Or if it just had, like any other use other than going on the wall and making a brick that is largely indistinguishable from copper. Like, for example, I've seen the idea of having some sort of resin lamp, like a lava lamp or something would be funny, or maybe some sort of redstone component that emits a redstone signal when you're looking at it, like you, in theory, should be able to do with the Creakening, except you can't because it despawns during the day and you can't name tag it, which is insane. I mean, there's no way they don't change that at this point. That seems like a major oversight, but I digress. That's probably enough of these plants for now, and I'm going to take my ill-gotten gains and return home, and I'll just come back and make a farm for this later. I think you should.
I thought it'd be a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Spooky.
I don't like that he's looking at me.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's a lot skinnier than I thought.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
sort of the consensus.
I also thought he'd be bigger.
Yep. You and
That's
everyone
cool.
else. I can fix it
Why is he stuck?
because we're looking at him.
Yeah.
Okay, can we look away from him? I want to see him move.
Okay.
Like, do I have to have him out of my FOV?
You have to not be looking at him.
Well, my
Everybody has to not be
cross
looking at
hair isn't at him.
That's not. You can't be see. Oh, come on! All right, come over here. Throw the spyglass on there. And pop it in there. Give it a try.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
What? Oh, it's huge.
It's huge.
You're gonna put someone's eye out with that.
Oh, of course.
Which was
Oh.
5 days ago. So I think I've figured out the aqueduct.
Ah.
It's gonna require some sacrifice. So I think it is either way gonna require that it goes over that path and not under.
Yeah.
Stand under that for a second. Yeah, your hat fits. Your hat that is twice as tall as a man. So I think that's probably fine. I think I can live with that. Would you like an apple?
Why?
They're new and you haven't had one yet?
Oh, the new evil apple.
They're perfectly safe.
It's called the blight apple.
Yes. You seem a little suspicious. See? You're fine. And that's sort of the basic gist. So I was spacing out the columns for the aqueduct now that we've sort of finalized the design. And against all odds, this was not planned in the slightest. This column here and this column here are spaced perfectly that I don't have to move either of them. The only one that's a problem is this one. And I can work around that. So let's talk about the aqueduct. Now, the plan for the aqueduct is that this is going to be the pipeline, basically, around Moer. Items are going to go through the aqueduct. I have a plan for the aqueduct that I'd like to show rather than tell for how items are going to be transported. So I'm going to intentionally obfuscate that for those that have not already heard it. So this does require one thing, which is that it needs to be synced up in a specific way. Yeah, so the problem with this design is that the spacing on the water is different enough from the spacing of the aqueduct itself that it will get out of sync, and so I need to design the water system around where the turns need to go. It is going to turn in places. So this building is my mud factory, which means that we need to have some form of water access here. So this is the place where it turns, I think. I think this is the junction. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do that, and we're just going to real quick move that over there in case for some reason I walk away. I don't even know if this is all... Yeah, this mod just updated, so I have no idea what's spawnable and what's not. So we're going to do 2, 2, 2, 2. So we're doing the trapdoors like this for a couple of reasons. One is that if you fall in, you can just flip it and get out. 2 is so that they close like this, and when this was bi-directional, actually this made more sense. Used to have it so that the water stream could be reversed, but the redstone wasn't fitting in the aqueduct shape that we wanted, so I redid sort of how the redstone works. But basically it's so that there's a block in the middle so that anything that's going down the middle, which hopefully everything will get stopped there. As opposed to if we did it like this, if something bumped up against it here, it would be out of the water stream because the water stream would end here, and then if these opened back up, it wouldn't keep going. So with this, with the plan that I have, everything's going to be in such a way that if it hits the middle like that, it will get stopped. And then the moment those open up again, they'll float up the water stream and keep going, hopefully. So this is kind of not what I intended to happen, but it's useful, so I can live with it. If you break ice with Silk Touch, obviously you just get ice. If you break it with your fist, it melts into water. I wanted to have it that ice was harvestable with a sword, so that you didn't need enchantments to get ice in the early game. And sort of a result of that was that you can break ice with a sword and get ice back, and it gives you water, which seemed fine to me, quite frankly, because this is annoying to do. And like you could just get an infinite water source and then move it in a bucket, but then the bucket doesn't stack, and then that's just annoying. So I prefer having what is basically just a stackable infinite water source that you can take with you. I think that's fine, frankly. It's not like water is a hot commodity. Oh, we're in the low gravity zone. I need to start making those warning markers for that. Now, those of you that have been paying attention to this game for a while might be able to recognize what I'm doing, but I'm not going to give it away anyway, because even though it's glaringly obvious, I want to maintain the illusion of a surprise at what I'm doing when I eventually get to it. So, with luck, anything that goes into this canal will be pushed along by this water stream, and somewhere around here, which is why I put that there, we're going to have dispensers, one, I believe, here and one here. And when this one fires, it's going to pull the water out, and when this one fires, it's going to put the water in, and that's going to change the flow of this, and there's going to be another canal probably leading this way, which actually goes just past Zakticon's window, which I think is probably fine. Yeah, see, because if I did it, for example, here, it would go through the building. So I think having it right here is probably pretty good, because it means that we can stop here and then turn and reroute this way, and Zakticon can have a canal running right under his house, and it can chip things out from the bees as it goes past, which I think is nice. I would like the pipes in Moer to work on a schedule, I think. So it's not just like they're always filtering it all the time. I think that they wait there for pickup until a certain time of day, and then the collection system runs to pick them up. For no other reason other than I like the idea of having set schedules for items, so that I can look at the clock and go, oh, the wheat's about to come through. Because Casey sort of had something similar last season with his big smelter. There would be a little chime that would go off every, I don't know, 20 minutes. I don't remember the exact timing. Go back and watch the tour. I'm sure he explains it. But every so often a little chime would go off, and you're like, oh, we're halfway to the potato harvest, and then the other chime would go off. Oh, here it comes! Everyone clear off the tracks in the front of the building, otherwise you're gonna get hit by the train. So that amused me, and I wanted to have something similar going in Moer. But of course I'm not doing minecarts. I'm doing aqueducts. So we'll see how that works out. Okay. So this is now moderately functional. So let's see if it does what I kind of want it to do. Here we go! Making my way downtown. It's pretty slow, but it amuses me. Yeah, so the aqueduct is also a lazy river. You can get in on your boat and just drift along, and if you ever want to stop, you can just flip up that trapdoor, or as the case will be later, the trapdoor will be flipped up automatically with redstone running up the pillar. So when it gets to maybe here, run some redstone up the pillar, have it stop, and pick up the wheat, And we keep going. And of course, this will all be fleshed out more. Again, it's probably patently obvious what I'm doing, but again, I don't want to say what I'm going to do. I want it to be visual when it's finally when my plan finally comes together, like that fellow from the A-Team. I say that fellow like I don't know it, like John Hannibal Smith from the A-Team. This is never not gonna feel like a trap. I'm pretty sure Lucky left this, and she doesn't do redstone, so I'm probably fine, but it's never not gonna feel like a trap. Also, I definitely need a better place for people to leave boxes. Ah, finally, something I can use. These people, they're always giving me gems and coins for gifts. I don't want that. All I want is old, broken pottery. Okay, this can't be here because this sets this off. It's like thinking. The hell is this? What happened here? I recently came to the conclusion that this dripstone farm was not quite keeping up with my dripstone needs. This is what I've got after, yeah, so that's after a couple of days of not emptying this out. That's not so great for, you know, days. So I've taken a little artistic liberty, and I have made what I am now referring to. Oh, good, it's harvesting. What I'm now referring to as Goliath. Yep. 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 Yeah, one more. And there we go. This is 9 additional floors on top of the 2 at the top. It is so big that by the time the actuator gets to the top, the items down here have actually despawned, so I had to rewire the entire firing mechanism to go after the harvest is complete. This keeps happening. Someone keeps unpointing my dripstone. I don't know why it does that. And we're doing a lot better. We're doing a lot better. So I think I can live with that. However, this ladder takes a while. This is awful. Actually, I hate this. I should have just flown out of here, but I sort of wanted to underscore how bad the ladder is. And I have to be careful because the carts running at the speed they're running at will just flatten me. Because this guy is about to harvest. Yep, here we go. Let's watch this go. In free cam from a safe distance. Now I'm actually quite proud of this engineering because this guy makes it all the way over. I did have one issue where the actuator went all the way through and just kept going through the wall, but I don't know why. Shouldn't have. But yeah, here we go. It comes back over, and right as it's getting to the end, this minecart's going. So if there's any dripstone left on the top, it'll get pushed off and land on those last 2 rails right as the minecart hits it. And then this guy just comes on back and stops. So related to the minecart running people over, though, we did have a slight incident. There are some design choices in the way that hitbox selecting works in this game that I would not have made, wherein 1 block actually means 1.5 blocks, and 1.5 blocks means 2 blocks, and So to cut a long story short, the minecart was running over my sniffers from down here. You can see it goes quite fast, and whenever it stopped, it thought it was detecting a collision because there was an entity 1.5 blocks above it. I only wanted to check 1 block above it. All my sniffers died. These are new sniffers. This is reinforced titanium Bergman and no. Where's Bogart? New and improved fireproof Bogart. Because of course the original Bogart was also struck by lightning and burned to death. So my sniffers died, and I had to replace them. Fortunately, as I was replacing them, the last of the original Bergman Bogart dynasty was flattened, so I was able to get 1 egg off of him, and I still had 1 in storage and 1 that I'd given to Casey. So Louis II, last scion of Bogart here, is, as far as I'm aware, the last true descendant of that original line of sniffers. And then I also now have added a chorus of disillusioned Frenchmen, and somewhere in here is Sidney Greenstreet's parrot, because there are only so many characters in Casablanca. So, couple of other things. Despite the fact that this is likely releasing in July, well, I got the edit done by July at least. It's 2 days to Christmas. It's 11:40, Monday, December 23rd, 2024, and so I've packaged up some gifts for everyone, and I'm going to distribute those not right now, actually, later. And by everyone, I mean the 6 people that have logged in the last 3 weeks, because sometimes I'll give people Christmas presents and then they don't get them until April. So I just anyone that's logged in the last 3 weeks is my new policy. But we're not going to do that. However, what we are going to do is I have decided what I'm charging for the sniffer flower, the Road Warrior shop. After quite a bit of deliberation, I've had no idea what I want to charge for it, because I always sort of run into the problem of I don't want anything from other people. I'm good, and other people don't have anything I want. Because here's basically this: what I need, what is difficult for me to get, and what I need a lot of is pottery sherds. But if you're going to get pottery sherds, there's a decent chance you're getting them out of an ocean ruin, which is where you get a sniffer egg. And if someone finds a sniffer egg in an ocean ruin while they're getting a pottery sherd to pay for the sniffer, why buy the milk when you can get the cow for free? Basically, is the metaphor I've been using, and I don't want that to happen. Casey has been given away wool free with vouchers that he's been given out, and I think I'm going to go in a similar direction. However, I don't necessarily want to do vouchers, and I don't want to have to be the one giving them away. I'm going to do gold nuggets so that at least if someone counterfeits them, then I get more gold, I guess. Also, they look like coins, and they aren't really used in a lot of crafting recipes, and you can't accidentally place them on the ground, which was a concern with some of my other ideas. I wanted to use the new resin, because that's new, I guess, but then if I named them, people could accidentally place them and they would lose their name. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make, I don't need to go over here yet, is that I'm going to be hiding Road Warrior tokens, I guess. I don't know what I'm going to call them yet, around the map, and if you find them, you get 6 free tokens that you can redeem for 1 slot of stuff. The problem is that I don't know what I want to call them, because also if I expand my shop, which I probably will, I would like to have a fireworks shop going. I've planned a couple of fireworks. I'm giving some away for. I'm giving people the first taste free. If I expand my shops, I'd like that to be. I don't want to make new doubloons. They're not doubloons. That was Palms Ahoy. So I don't want to just call them Road Warrior tokens, because that's silly. What was the currency of Carthage? Ancient Carthage. Carthaginian currency. Of course, shekels. Okay, let's make some shekels, I guess. All right, time to move some product. I think I'm just gonna do one shekel for a slot of these, because they're not. It's 16, yeah. They're not gonna be rare, but they're not gonna be common either. So it's you know what? I want to do. We'll do it like that. Nope. Torch flour. There we go. Same thing with these. The shekels are not gonna be rare. They're not going to be common. That's too much. But I think 1 for 16 is a reasonable exchange rate. And as I control the supply and the demand, I'm not too terribly concerned about that. of course I waxed that one. This also will be 1 for 8, I think. Just because, like, I think 1 shekel per 1 slot of thing makes sense. I could presumably put more in the barrel if I made people portion them out themselves, but I don't want to do that. And this guy also 16. I should probably raise that, quite frankly, because I don't have too terribly many of those, but whatever. And I think that's reasonable. And I like to wax these so they don't get tampered with. And I won't be needing you anymore. And because the coin says something along the lines of redeemable at participating locations, we need a way to let people know that this is a participating location. So we're just going to put Moeri Shekels, shekel sign accepted. And that's probably good. Yeah, that's fine. Which means we are now open for business. And I'm going to have to redo that commercial. All right, we are back over here at the bird plate. We're in Casey's train station. He's still working on, I think. And I have made 3 stacks of these Moeri shekels. I put the little, this is apparently the actual shekel sign, at least for the Israeli shekel. Maybe not great optics associating with that right now, but I have been hiding these around the bird plate. And by that, I mean I've hidden this in one spot. I'm putting them in Moeri shekel casks to sort of, because here's the thing, right? I want to hide them around the bird plate. I have my reasons for this. I'll get to that in a second. But I want people to be able to see them and go, oh, it's a Moeri shekel that no one's found. I can take it. And I don't want them to go, oh, look at this cash register full of Moeri shekels. I'm just going to grab those, because then I won't have them in my cash register. So here's sort of what my thinking is that as I've said, nobody has anything I want, and I don't really want anything that anyone has. So that's sort of 2 different ways of saying the same thing, if you didn't know. But I still want to, A, offload stock because I have too much, and, B, actually sell these things. But I don't want to just give them away for free like Aang is doing over at his sand shop. I don't know if we've been over here yet, because these were all full, and it's gone now. I've been giving him mushroom stems because I feel bad about just taking free sand. I've been paying for it, because basically I want to. Okay, well, there's more in there. I want to rate limit the purchasing, basically, because as much as I would like to offload my stock, I also don't want to have to keep coming back to restock. And so I figure, it's got to be something that people have to put in effort to get. It can't be just like, oh, give me an emerald, and then someone comes in with a whole ton of emeralds. But it also has to be something that I can control the supply of. So basically, if people want my product, they can have it as long as they get out and actually look around the bird plate and try and find them. So here we are. Now I just need to find hiding spots. I've hidden some under the subway. There's some nooks and crannies in the bird plate where I think I can hide a couple of Moeri shekel casks or 2. Here, for example, would be an obvious one. But I think I just need to make a bunch of them, like pre-make a bunch of casks and then go putting them around, because I can't be renaming them on a case-by-case basis. So that's probably going to be a task for later, but like up there would be a good spot to hide one, And I mean, that barrel right there would be an easy spot for one, or over in Sun's Tower. I could hide one up here in the up in the roof, or down here at this pavilion area that Lucky put in next to my fishing shack, or over by my fishing shack. There's a bunch of vestigial barrels around here. Look at this. That's not anything useful. This is my junk drawer. These are my guest hose for if someone comes by and accidentally tramples this, and I don't know why the boat is in there. Well, I mean, I can hazard a guess. There's 1,000 boats down there, but or over there even. There's a barrel in that boat. But that is going to be a task for later. Let's go back to Moer. I have set up real quick here a pale moss farm up here. I have a pale moss farm and a glowberry farm up here now, which is very straightforward. It's just observer, redstone line, dispenser full of bone meal. So whenever I pick this glowberry, it does that basically. It automatically regrows, and I can just sit here and hold right click, and it'll just do that for as long as there's bone meal in there. Same deal here. I can cut this pale moss, and it'll just regrow on its own. This item frame is back here because otherwise you'll slowly. There's enough of like server desync that you'll slowly start punching through the mud, and it will eventually break. So if there's an entity back there, you just don't punch out the entity, and then it'll just keep going. Was my solution to that. Some people just put obsidian back there, but I didn't want to do that because this is a load-bearing wall, and it's not going to come down. So there's that. The bee farm in Zakticon's house has been producing too much, and I think candles are going to be the next thing I sell. Oh, I remember the other real thing. In addition to my sniffers getting killed, I accidentally left the iron farm switched on after I was done using it. I really need to add a timer, an automatic shutoff timer to this. But the takeaway is that all my allays died, so I'm having to start over from 0 on this one. I don't feel too bad that all the allays died because they're awful and I hate them. But that's an easy enough fix, and nobody really wants to watch me breed allays for 20 minutes. So I think I'm going to deliver the Christmas presents that I don't have in my inventory anymore. And other than that, I'm just gonna hang out. I got a lot of editing to do. It's Christmas. I'm gonna take this loop off. I'm gonna take a break and see what happens after that.
Wait, what the?
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Whee! Wait, what?
What's the problem? There shall be no rest for the wicked. I have received a Christmas present, but I must do a scavenger hunt. Somewhere in the bird plate, there is a key that will open that box. And by God, it could be anywhere. Okay, it's not with the guest hose. Now, he said that they were all in item frames except for one, but he didn't specify whose key was the one that was in a container. So I gotta look everywhere. Now, Casey has said that he has hidden this in something we've built in the bird plate, which, to quote my response, is one of those monkey paw sentences I dread seeing interpreted with ulterior motives, because that could be anywhere from my house to any segment of the monorail that I helped with. So, here we go. I really hope it's not in with my Halloween monsters. I hope it's not in here either, because this is where I keep the inventories that we've gathered from people that joined the server briefly and never came back, and I prefer to keep their names off the public record. Oh, you know what? I bet he... Yep. I bet he hoppered it into there, which is... I don't even have the key to this barrel anymore, so I don't know how I was supposed to find that otherwise. All right. It was this one, yes? Okay. And... All right, more broken pottery! And some lemons.
Boy, Hernan Cortez, I sure hope we find the Fountain of Youth soon.
Yes, we must hurry if we are to find the fountain before the full moon.
Would you stop worrying? We still have 48 hours to baptize you in its mystic waters before Kamazatz's curse turns you to sand.
Are you eating a hard candy?
Well, actually, I don't really know how you characterize it. It's a peppermint, but it's one of the softer ones.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna guess it's still a hard candy.
Thank you for eating a peppermint in the recording studio. Let me know when you've finished eating your peppermint. If we could start this from the top.